Obviously, we've talked about on the show the Harden slander on all these morning hot take shows. And a lot of these pundits are saying, it was a great trade this season for the Sixers, but you got to let James Harden go. You can't give him money, whatever. But report came out last night that James Harden is reportedly going to opt into his final deal of his contract worth up to $47 million. And then they're going to work on a long-term deal with the Sixers. This is good news. We traded a lot of stuff to get Harden. Now, it's good news for some fans who didn't want to pay him the super max at $250 million, whatever it was. But what do you guys think of James Harden opting into that final year of his deal?
Well, it's hard for me to see, more than I made in my career in 1 year to turn it down.
That's your initial reaction. Initial reaction is, damn.
Yeah, to turn it down, that's kind of hard for me to kind of envision that. But no, I think it's James kind of, I think he wants some consistency, not necessarily just sort of in the pay, but I think it was consistency as far as with the group he's with. I think he got his GM, whoever's his coach, and he got Joel. I think when you talk about the end of your career, and we all know it's no matter how much longer he's going to play, it's when he's on the back end of his career. So I don't think he's opting out of a small deal. I just think that he opts in to figure out what we do instead of going for free agency, because I don't think he wants to leave. I think he's happy where he's at and want to kind of make it work there. You opt in, you kind of figure out, okay, what can we do next and how can we, get better from that point. So I think that from his standpoint, it's not surprising to me. Whether they can work out a new deal, that remains to be seen. I think that it'll come down to more the years to me than maybe the amount. I think the years would probably be more in play. It kind of depends on when you want him to come off that deal, when is Joel's deal in. I think all of that will have to be figured out.
Teja, as a fan, were you happy about that? I mean, where do you stand on that? There's a lot of Sixer fans who were unhappy or happy. I mean, it's all over the place.
I think it's interesting. I know everyone thought he'd opt out and renegotiate for a long-term deal and the security part of it, but I like it. I think it shows that, to me at least, it shows that he thinks he's better than he is right now. He's kind of betting on himself on a one-year deal. I know this is not the NFL, but it's almost kind of like a franchise tag in a way. But he's deciding to do it, not the team, which is interesting because, usually a guy would opt out for more money and more years. He's choosing to do a one-year deal, which is crazy. But I like that it's like everyone's saying, oh, he's not worth that money. He's not worth all this 5-year, 4-year deal of $250 million. He hears all that. So in his mind, he's saying, okay, I'll play on a one-year deal. I'm gonna kill my offseason with workouts and just basketball, no rehab, no more hamstring talk. And then I'm going to come back next year even better and score closer to my 25 a game and be a hybrid of Houston, Brooklyn, Harden, and not this 2010 version of him. And if he does come back and be the 2010 version like he is this year, then maybe they renegotiate accordingly. Maybe they give him a Chris Paul 4-year, $120 million deal instead of this 5-year, $300 million deal. I mean, maybe this year is kind of like an audition to see, all right, let's see when I put my full offseason into this, no more rehabbing, no more excuses. I'm with the team all offseason, no more midseason trade. Let's see how I come back from this. Let's see who I am for the back half of my career. Let's see where I'm headed. And I don't mind that at all, really.
Have you looked at the numbers stage as far as if you were to do this, to opt in, how much money are we going to have to be able to sign anybody next offseason, or is it going to depend on us trading? We have to trade Tobias in order to kind of do
we're strapped. I mean, we can't do that. If we're going to do anything, it would be, we have to trade. We have to trade probably. I mean, it depends what you want to get. But I know Danny Green's contract becomes guaranteed in sometime in July. So you have to decide if we want to keep that $10 million in the books. But even if we let him go, that $10 million just gets gone, and we don't get we don't get it back or anything. We're so over the cap at this point. But if you do anything, it'd have to be like a Tobias trade. And there's that Beal rumor floating around that I keep hearing about. I know Jay Williams even talked about it, how, I think someone said Beal wants to come and play with Embiid. That's a thing. So
for who though? James?
No, I mean, what, as a Sixer fan talking? I mean, yeah, Tobias, and I think now Thibault's he's a lot less untradeable than he was 3 months ago. That's for damn sure. I mean, but I don't know what they do, Tobias and Thibault. The thing is, it all depends on, just like James. Everyone said James will come to Philly when he says, I want to go to Philly. Get me out of here. Same thing with Beal. If Beal comes out and says, I'm not re-signing here, I want to go to Philadelphia, they really don't have a choice. It sucks. It really does suck. But what are they going to do at that point? They're just going to lose him for nothing?
Yeah, but it's different because it's not like Philly has a situation where they'll have the cap space to sign him.
After Tobias, I mean, if you give her a Tobias' deal and Thibault's, it could work. I think I haven't looked at the numbers, but Tobias makes like 38.
Yeah, that'll be tough. I think that they'll get other offers for Beal. I don't want to get too excited for that.
Oh, I'm not gonna get excited. Yeah, but again, like everyone always says, if the guy has to, and it's a big move, right? Everyone kept waiting for Lillard to do it. He never did it. A guy has to come out and say, I'm not re-signing. I want there. And if he says that, which is a pretty big move considering he's had a long-term relationship with Washington, it'd be pretty messed up at this point. But if he's at crossroads and he wants gone, then I don't know. It all comes down to Beal, I think, what he says.
Yeah.
I read an article. There was a big rift last offseason when they were doing the head coach search that he actually wanted them to hire Sam Cassell. It was a longtime assistant when Flip Saunders was there in Washington. He had a really good relationship with him. They didn't, I don't think they brought him in for an interview actually. And they ended up hiring Wes Unseld Jr. For that gig. And he was pretty pissed off about that. Cassell, if we keep Doc on staff, obviously a lot of things have to happen, but keep Doc on staff, say Cassell doesn't get another job elsewhere, he stays as the assistant. Maybe, that could link Beal, maybe still want to come to
I just feel like with people under contract and not having a salary and all the space, I just think it's way more difficult than we realize. And the one thing that, is sending him in conference, a couple hours up north. I gotta think that they won't do that.
Yeah.
I just not that it can't be done. I know Tommy Shepard pretty well. Nothing in me tells me that that's where he would trade him.
Yeah.
Nothing in me tells me.
You would have to force their hand and be a big problem.
And I just don't know how he can force their hand to do that. Because I also think other teams that Beal may also have on that list, and trust me, it's not just one team on that list, if it ever comes to him wanting to leave, that they can't find it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Because I do know there's a few other teams Celtics in the Western Conference that want him too.
Celtics have been long because apparently he wants to play with Tatum. They're good friends. But yeah, but hey, on the plus side, Tobias Harris in the playoffs has raised his stock. He looks great. He looks our most consistent player.
Does he look like a number one option?
He doesn't look like Beal.
Okay. But that's who you stand trading for.
Yeah, no, I know. It's definitely, look, Brooklyn didn't want to do Simmons, and they didn't want to do that deal either. They kind of had to do it, right? So, and AD, Lakers, Pelicans didn't necessarily want to trade him to LA. They had to because he said, I want there or nothing. And they're like, okay, well. Yeah,
but they trade a lot of good pieces to get AD.
But at the time, it wasn't looked that way. At the time, it wasn't looked at the same way.
That's true. But
now, if you look at it now, man, they got a lot. They got a lot of guys, man. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting offseason with him. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm actually glad Harden did what he did. I think it's good for him. I think it shows awareness that he wants to get back to where he thinks he is. So, and if he has 26, 20, if he averages 27 and 12 next year, I don't think anyone's gonna complain at that max deal again. I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, yeah, don't give him that money anymore. If he does that, I have no complaints.
Yeah, I think the media set a very, a low bar for him. So if he just looks, what you said, to 26, if he's averaging 25, 26, and he does that, I wonder how they're going to shift the goalposts next year to make it seem like he's washed up still. So
I don't think he can do that.
You don't think so?
Not with Joel. I don't think he can do that.
Yeah.
You got Maxey and you got Tobias. I just don't think that you can have a guy averaging 30 and another guy averaging 26, 27. I just don't think you can do that.
Even with his current shot attempts, though, if you just raise his percent, because his percentages aren't that good. If you just raise his percentages 4, 5, 6%, he is almost there. That's 1 or 2 maybe more shots a game. He'd be around
but we talking about Maxey, a guy that he's going to go for more, not less.
He's going to go up to yeah.
And Tobias is, you talking about him being a free agent. All that, he's going to go for what, more or less?
Yeah.
So then we saying James is going to increase it 5 to 7 points, and it's at 33. Like,
unless they got Beal, he's definitely not scoring 25. That happens.
Like I don't even want to kind of. I know that I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's necessary either. And I think because I think the way that he's going to get it there is for his game to evolve in a way that he's never played. And that's it. Even I think that would help him in the playoffs this year. If you look at a guy like Chris Paul, and they're talking about how he's playing in third and fourth quarter, it's because he makes the mid-range shot. Yep. And he takes it. And it's almost like a layup. But people talk about that shot all the time, but if you look in the playoffs, guys shoot it a lot because they run you off the three-point line. Like look how tough James Harden's three-point shots are.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
But they're giving him because they know he won't take a mid-range shot. They know he won't take it.
Is that what you would tell him to work on in the offseason? Just kill your mid-rangers?
I think in order for him to get to the point where you saying he needs to get, I think he needs to be a 3-level scorer. We know he has the 3. He has to get the middle, and he can attack at the rim. I think he has to have all 3 levels to get there. So they're playing him and they're pressuring him and showing him a crowd so he can't get to the rim, pressing him, making all of his 3-point shots and playing on a certain hand and making his shots tough and not leaving him. So he's not getting not many clean looks from 3. He's not really getting to the rim because he's seeing the crowd. That's how your shot attempts go down. And your free throws and everything go down. You're not getting fouled. All of that stuff goes down. But if he gets to that middle level, now all of a sudden you make that big make a decision. You make those guys make a decision. So I just think he needs to go to being a 3-level scorer in order to elevate his game, because how you gonna play him then?
Yeah.
But now it's either 3-point line or layup, and they're pressing him and putting bigger guys on him or showing him a crowd, and he can't always turn that corner and get to the rim, and he don't have any clean looks from 3. And it wasn't too clean even when Joel was there. Because I think that he just, I think he's capable of doing it. It's just whether that's something he feels like he needs. He may feel like I don't need that at all. That's not what I want to do. And that's his prerogative. I'm saying I think he needs to be a 3-level scorer.
Yeah.
In order to take it to the level that you're hoping that he can do it. I just don't know without shooting it, without being a threat at it, how he can get there with the guys that we already have in that starting lineup.
Yeah, there's times where once he gets past a 3-point line, defenders, you can tell, they're like already trying to meet him at the rim. They already think, okay,
they know he's not going to shoot it.
He's not going to stop at the elbow.
He's not going to stop and shoot it.
But there were so many times where
he's wide open.
You just stopped right now.
Yes.
That defender's going to the rim, and you're wide open for your jumper. You're right. It's right there.
That's straight scouting report. They know he's not going to shoot it.
He did a couple times. He had front rim that's like 12-footer. I'm like, damn, dude.
Not used to it.
No, he's not. It's weird. It's weird.
Because if he was used to it, he would go to it. Like it wouldn't be like a sort of a reaction. It would be dribbling to the shot.
He did it because it was open. He's like, oh shoot, is that open? I have to take this now.
Yes.
Miss.
It was always like a surprise shot.
Yeah. It was like, fine, you're gonna give me this? Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Tell you what, if that Bradley Beal trade is plausible, I'll wear my door Marcus dash, and I'll take Bradley Beal to Philly, and I'll bring Tobias down here around the DC area, free of charge.
Free of charge. Okay.
Yeah. I'll do it.
A lot of guys would, but there's a long line of DoorDash for that one though. A lot of guys would do that drive.